The nature of reality at the moment is really in a space of multi-dimensional consciousness. Our dream state and sleep state at the moment is so active. And I'm going to try and put it in very simple terms so we can have a bit of an understanding, because it's a very broad, in-depth happening at the moment, happenings. So what's occurring is, besides the uprooting of an old consciousness within our being and the different aspects and energies that are moving, weaving in and out of our reality, our lives, individually and collectively, is what is also occurring is what we call dimensional shifts and timeline shifts. This, simply put, in relation to our dream life and our sleep state, that it's impacting. So what's occurring in the different timelines or the different aspects of our being is that for many of us, our dreams or our sleepings have been pretty full on, very active, intense, busy. Many are waking up feeling the hangovers of the sleep and the dreams, feeling out of sorts, and the dreams are very busy. Some of you might be dreaming of full-on scenarios, heavy scenarios in your dream state. Now, this is because there are realities here on Earth, and also what we call alternate realities or parallel realities. This is like the dimensional consciousness. Now, because on the planet at the moment, the veils are pretty much non-existent, and the boundaries between different consciousness, different realms, different realities is blurred. So there's a lot of seeping through from other spaces and places. And this is happening in particular for a lot of people in their sleep and dream state. That's one of the things that's occurring. So a lot of people are actually having these full-on dreams. One, it has to do with the uprooting and the clearing of an old consciousness around disempowerment and fear. And the other aspect of it is that the dreams are dreams of other spaces and places on the planet that you as a person has a frequency within you. This is connect to what we call the soul's map that is aligned to those spaces and places. It's neither good or bad. It just is. And it's happening because of the planet's ascension process, which is also the different levels and aspects of reality. Pretty much the doors are wide open. So in your dream state, many of you are dreaming of certain realities that your frequency specific or aligned to, and some of you are actually assisting, helping with clearing in some really dense pockets in these realities. It is important to start, and I really advise this highly, to start daily. Have your moments, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of sitting in stillness, in meditation, to almost plug back into the light. So you create that practice daily and often throughout the day. Another thing we suggest is to keep your energy clear and cleansed. When you're in the shower, imagining and visualizing the water coming from the shower is cleansing your aura, your energy field. That's really important at this time. Getting enough rest. I know that's a bit of a contradiction, because I know in your rest and sleep, you're going through a lot of purging, cleansing, clearing. You're also working out a lot of stuff. And some of the stuff you're working out is not even your stuff. Yes, aspects is, but a lot of it is the collective, and a lot of it is that genetic and cultural aspect of your being, and also on the collective. So there's a lot going on. We're going through massive shifts, and we're also, because of the unified consciousness that we're in a unified consciousness, that at many times, unbeknownst to us, we're being pulled into that unified consciousness. And not only are we clearing, but we're assisting with clearing in different aspects and realities of what's happening on the planet now, but also along the timeline of the planet, and also on a dimensional aspect. So there's a lot going on. You're doing a lot. We're doing a lot. And at the same time, we're being asked to start connecting and moving on to the path of the heart. Part of the work I do is I spend quite a bit of time in what I call the different councils. Now, the different councils, and that's how I describe it, are the different energies, groups in the spirit realms, in the star realms, in the inner earth, the ancestor energies of Mother Earth, the star beings of many places, not only in this quadrant, in this star system, but other systems. And of late, in particular, the last 3 weeks, I've been seeing pieces of information and puzzle pieces. And it's like this, what we call, it's like this massive map. And there are different pieces that get revealed. And the reason they get revealed in bits and pieces is we need to be, or I need to be, of a certain vibration or frequency to be able to view it. So of late, I've been getting more and more of those pieces, and it's really interesting because I'm seeing quite clearly why all that is happening on the earth is happening in the way it is. We've been speaking about the dismantling of a hierarchy and of that consciousness for years now. And this is what we're in, and you all know that. And that is also happening within us. But what is really important to remember, and I was reminded of this in one of the council meetings, gatherings, is as a collective consciousness, which is that unified consciousness, we have so much between us all, so much light, so much divine grace and divine empowerment to help direct the energies and the realities to the higher consciousness of enlightenment, of unity, of belonging, of connecting, of love. So at the moment now, you might at different times feel a bit scrambled, confused, not feeling grounded, feelings like, What is my purpose? Why am I here? What is it all about? It's all crap. All those feelings of confusion, not sure about everything and anything. And that's because at the moment now, because there is this shift in all areas of consciousness, in all polarities, dualities, that as this is occurring, there are many times we're being hit energetically and with the energies of, I'll put it simply, trying to be hoodwink or confusion or triggering or pushing the buttons of disconnection, which is under the banners of fear. And this directly impacts our head centers, our third eye. So when it impacts our head centers, our third eye, our crown, our throat chakras, what happens is we then go into a space where we are so busy trying to just be grounded and work with just getting on with the day. You know, some of us are overwhelmed with tiredness, or we're forgetting things, we're feeling off center. So again, it's really important to have those moments, 5 minutes, 10 minutes daily, and have them often. I personally have about 3 to 4 of those 10 minutes daily. I just sit, I relax my shoulders. Sometimes I go really deep for 10 minutes into a deep space. And what that does is just connects you to your connection to source, to the light, to divinity. It like plugs you back into that, what we call your original self. That's really important during this time, because we are all going through this acceleration and it's shape shifting us. We are changing very quickly. You know, the way we perceive things, the way we see things, our brain is changing very quickly. Our bodies is going through an acceleration. So there's a lot coming up for a lot of people. This has to do with also us moving into more and more of an enlightened state of consciousness, of beingness. A lot of undoing happening. So be aware when you're feeling out of whack, the third eye, the head centers are getting hit. They're getting hit by all the stuff flying around. So much information. And a lot of that information, the foundation of it is fear, and to keep one in that space of not remembering, of not seeing. But no, it is part of us actually remembering. So you're going to see a lot of stuff come up, and if you can now consciously just keep reminding yourself that you are going through an evolution and an ascension process. When we gather under the energy of light and to bring the light through at this time on the planet, it is important to do that, and it's important to do that without judgment and also clearing the fear. Because when you do it in that way, the light channels through really quickly and strongly and moves out into all places and spaces on the planet very quickly. And it can be a difficult thing to do because we are still in our human beingness that is still undoing the programs of fear, judgment, and disempowerment. But it's also really important that when we bring the light through or we hold the light at this time on earth, that we do that with awareness. That we do that with awareness of what's happening. So that's called witnessing. So it's seeing in action. So you're aware that there are things happening all over the planet in particular areas at this time, in particular areas at other times that are also falling or merging with this one time predominantly that's happening on the planet. So yes, pray, meditate, bring in the light. It's so important. And you can be aware of what's going on from a place of deep understanding that we are being called, humanity is being called to now step on the path of the heart. That is what's going on. So when we're on the path of the heart, and the great mystics and the great leaders have spoken about this time, have also been able to step upon the path of the heart. That's why they're great mystics and great leaders. The difference is all of humanity are now being called to activate, to resurrect that mystic, that wise, that divine beingness within them. And it's doing it in the way of allowing, because when we witness what's going on, we feel all those pain, body emotions, we feel the grief, we feel the hopelessness, we feel all of that. And if you're able to transmute those feelings, and that feeling that you're feeling becomes a powerful energy, that ultimately it is divine love. Because for eons now, this is what we're moving out of, this planet, in all of history, us individually in our journeys, in this time, in other times, our genetics, our families, and so on, we have been what I call the wounded creators. So we've created from a place of hurt, of trauma, of wounds, of pain, of separation, disconnection, of what's mine is mine, and for some, I want more. And I'm going to do all I can to get more. That's just a very coarse way of describing the energies, but that's how it's been. We are now in the unified consciousness, the Aquarian age. And so this requires us to move on to the path of the heart. We don't have a choice. This is the way it's moving. What we do need to do is see clearly, is to remember that we are divine beings, that our soul is a powerhouse of light and love and deep wisdom. Overlighting this is the infinite essence of the immortality of our spirit here on earth. And as we realize that what we're in is the awakening and remembering, the evolution, and if you then see it out of those eyes of what's going on the planet, you will gather and bring the light through, but you will do it in a grounded way that activates, because we are now all being called to be and to take up the responsibility of sacredness to come through all beings and places and spaces. So there is so much happening, and what's happening on the planet right now is to activate that sacred activist within you There have been many masters and mystics and leaders who are the wisdom keepers that walk this planet for many indigenous nations and many ascended ones. And they all had with them the strong activation of the sacred activist. They were moved to walk the path of revolution as part of the evolution, part of their initiation process. We are in the unified consciousness. It is required now that all people move into that space. So yes, it's about bringing the light in and directing it to the places that are in suffering, but it's also not being afraid to witness it, to see it. That's important. Because when you do that, you are activating the light to become the predominant overlighting force on this planet. That is the way of the heart. That is the way of the great activation of love through our beings in this physical embodiment. We are being called to remember, to shake the cobwebs out of our energy, out of our minds, and remember that ultimately we are love and we are the inspiration of the stars moving into alignment to bring in liberation, to bring in liberation. Liberation, and then peace will follow. And this is in all aspects. It's not just in the earth and what's happening in the 3D, but it is also within us. Thank you. Have an awesome, awesome equinox. And again, spend time, 10, 15 minutes connecting, especially in this equinox time, all the time, but it's really potent during this time and next week. Thank you.